Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your horrible, nasty video game ideas from all over the internet. Really does. I'm your host, AJ Hart.
Time. Dude, excellent. That was a solid 3.5 seconds. I'm wicked proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm happy our tune-ups and all of the adjustments that we've made to your inner engine have been going super well. Hello, everybody. My name is Blake Rea, and welcome to Spiritual Successor. As my co-host said, I'm not going to redo his intro because it was fucking top quality. We are here to take your lovely video game ideas and turn them into the shitty, wonderful, bad, awesome, maybe warms your heart a little bit, video game ideas, and man, I fucked all of this up. Man.
You fucked all of that up, and I did it so good and so precise because I'm running on new tech. I'm running on new hardware.
Oh, that new hardware.
I'm not running on new tech and new hardware right now, but I will be probably next week.
AJ gets a 3070 and he thinks he's better than everybody.
That's because I am, first of all, and second of all, I'm just like I'm putting my mind in the space of having a 3070 and a 1 terabyte SSD, and I'm in a different world. It's so good over here.
What's the first game you're gonna boot up on your brand new computer? Just Stealth Bastard, or what's like the least hardware heavy game that I can think of?
Do you want the real answer of what game I'm probably going to fire up immediately when I have my new 3070 computer?
Loop Hero.
Fuck you. Yes, it's going to be Loop Hero.
Hey everybody, you want to see AJ's new stream? Actually, AJ, that'd be so cool. I would watch you play Loop Hero streams, because that's
Loop Hero is such a good stream game. How's it going? I guess that's a good place to announce it. I'm going to be getting into streams when I have my new computer.
Oh, sweet. All right, you heard it here. Now AJ has been holding off telling everybody because he doesn't want to get people's hopes up, just in case everything goes wrong. But now, AJ, you've signed a contract with the audience that is something they should expect next week, because you did tell me personally.
I didn't say next week. I said I'll be getting into it sometime soon.
Roll back the tape.
I can't have it already in 1 week.
All right, it looks like the tape was corrupted, and we did lose that section of the audio. But AJ, I'm so excited for you. You're going to be doing streaming. That's awesome.
I'm going to be running on 18 gigaflops. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know if it's real.
Is gigaflops a real word? Is that
probably? I heard the word teraflop being thrown around in the arms race for the new console, and I still don't know what that means. It sounds like a cool dance move, and also like an anime villain.
Gigaflop. That does sound
teraflop. Terrorflop. Specifically sounds like a Digimon villain.
And then Gigaflop is their sidekick, but it's like that's the new villain for oh god, what's that Will Smith's kid anime? Neo Yokio.
That's
the new Neo Yokio villain.
Won't get another season, even though it deserves it. It's one of the best animes out there. Please, everybody, go watch Neo Yokio.
That is such a weird thing to hear. Like, every time I remember when Neo Yokio came out, everybody mutually agreed it was shit, because it was like Netflix was starting to get into anime and they had no history of it, and they just released Neo Yokio, and I remember everybody collectively saying it was shitty. And then I turn around and I go read something, and then I turn back, and then everybody's like, Neo Yokio is postmodern anime. And I'm like,
you know what it is you probably started paying attention to better people with better opinions on the internet.
This was you. I wasn't going to blast you. This was you saying Neo Yokio sucked. And then I turn around, I turn back, and you're like, Neo Yokio is one of the most quotable anime of all time. And I'm like,
I also got better taste and better influences in my life, and I watched it.
You grew as a person.
I stopped recycling the same dog shit vocal echoings of the internet, and I said, let's see what this is. And me and my dear friend watched it in a basement, and it was incredible.
Watch it. I feel like that's the place to watch Neo Yokio, in a basement. Well, you know what? Talking about anime,
more importantly, with a friend.
Was this Andrew? I feel like this is like,
it was Andrew. Yeah. Me and Andrew do this thing where whenever him and I are in the same state, we will find something and binge watch it together.
Just to hang out in a basement.
It's such a good experience.
Well, talking about anime is not what we do. We design wonderfully bad, awful video games that should not be made. AJ, do you want to give the first submission, or do you want me to give the first submission?
I'll give the first submission.
All right, fine. Fuck you. I'm sorry, that was heated. Like,
if you wanted it, you shouldn't have offered it.
No, that was heated. That was heated. I'm sorry. I'm still writing the negative energy. AJ and I did a Let's Play this morning, and I'm still like, I'm still wired because I had a really bad time doing it. Not because the Let's Play was bad. It was because it was hard. It was really hard.
It was so difficult. It was such a difficult Mario level out of nowhere.
I will say I did take a nap immediately after you and I like got off the phone because I was just so distraught and sweaty. And I just was like, yeah, have you ever been that mad where you're just like, I need to go to sleep?
No.
You've never been? Oh man, no. Like, so one thing that happens when I get mad, I don't think you've seen me. I think you've seen me like legitimately horribly mad a couple of times in our friendship.
I've never seen you walking mad or sleeping mad.
Yeah, but like when I get really frustrated and really like overheated, I just get really sleepy, and I think that's just my body going into rest mode of like
motherfucker goes through burnout.
you know like how phones turn themselves off when they're like then they got too hot in your pocket. Like that's what happens to me. I'm just so irritated right now. I could just sleep.
So when I'm really angry, I drink juice. Like I will like be like I'm really upset now. I need to go get juice, and I will like go to a store and purchase a bottle of juice and then come home and chug it.
Oh, man.
In fact, this morning when we experienced the Mario thing, once we were done recording, I went over and grabbed some juice I also was so upset.
It was so. I will be real. That is pretty adorable. That's like the most wholesome thing because I could just picture both little you, like little like 5-year-old, 6-year-old AJ and 26-year-old AJ both being like in a huff and mad, and then you just like your face just changes to this just rich happiness after just taking a wee sip of OJ. And I think that's
it's not even orange juice that will do it. It's like the weird smoothie juices that really fucking change my whole attitude. Juice? Yeah,
you mean like
if you
Naked
get like
or
one
whatever?
of those like Naked, yes. Those V8 like orange citrus smoothie explosion things. You put a glass of that in front of me when I'm having my worst of days, and I will be all chip and cheery again.
God damn, that's a good thing to know. I'll remember that next time you're in a little heated mode. Like you're not you when you're not drinking juice, AJ.
I'm not me when I'm not drinking juice. That's I'm always saying this.
All right, give me a submission. Let's talk video games.
You sure? You can have it.
All right.
You seemed really upset that I was doing it.
You gave it to me. This one comes to us on Twitter from Kayla Martin, parentheses Taylor version, @IsThisIsTheus, a game where you can use in-game currency to change the rules and mechanics of the game. First, I want to figure out how do you make money and what are the things that you spend on the money? Can we make some sort of like... the first thing that comes to mind for me is that this is some sort of video game that has different houses or different factions. All of like everybody's always discussing, oh, what house are you in Game of Thrones? Or, oh, what I forget. Is it also houses in Harry Potter? I don't know. Like it's Slytherin, Harry.
You're just saying like a multitude of faction options.
Yes. Is there a faction
the stink
option?
Butts, there's the fart heads, there's the cool guys, and there's the dope dogs.
The dope dog. It's like the off-brand action figure version of the Diamond Dogs from Metal Gear Solid. So I'm wondering, okay, is there some way that you can pick the house or faction that you are in, and you are then trying to invest back within your house, and what house has control kind of can vote and dictate what mechanics are at play in that game during that month. You know what I mean? Like, what if this was a seasonal thing where your faction actually... Imagine.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, so I'm gonna reach into something that I have as a touchstone, and this is the Lost Planet 2 multiplayer. How's it going? I have the opportunity to talk about Lost Planet 2.
You're old.
So Lost Planet 2 had a faction-based multiplayer. So there were like you had character design or like character customization, but every time you customized your character, you were customizing it based on the faction characters. There were like the Sand Pirate characters, Namek characters, and I forget what the pirates were called. Maybe they were just called pirates.
Sand Pirates?
Well, there were Sand Pirates and then there were Snow Pirates, and they are different because the Sand Pirates hang out in the desert and the Snow Pirates have like all this cool like sci-fi tanks on them because they need to be running thermal energy through their suit to keep them warm.
Yeah, I do think that's
Planet
pretty
2 bangs.
That's still pretty cool.
But
it's pretty cool.
But what happened was every week you chose what faction you wanted to play as, and then that meant that you got to use that customized character in multiplayer. But every week whatever faction was winning more points had a bigger pie chart in the multiplayer section. I picked up this game like 5 years after it had already passed like the social consciousness, so I don't know if they had any rewards for the winning factions. But you're imagining something like this, right? Like, it is a multiplayer game, and then whichever faction seems to be kicking the most butt gets to decide the rules, such as rockets give double ammo.
Or it's like, I'm trying to think. You're right. I think that you're onto something there, where it's like every week it calculates, okay, who is the faction with the most amount of like in-game currency collectively. And that's the stink of it. So whoever has the most in-game currency collectively, whatever faction, is the one that can then spend their money at the end of the week. But where the strategy comes in, you can spend that whole faction can blow the bulk of its money for custom rules, custom changes to the game, but that money then puts them at a lower advantage at the start of the nenext week. So
they may not be able to continue adding rules.
Yeah, so it's like this constant thing of like, imagine like I guess I'm trying to figure out, what is this? Is this like an open world thing, a la like Sunset Overdrive, where it's just like a world where there's just a bunch of people? It's a mad world. There's ways to collect money. That's one thing we should discuss. How do we make in-game currency in this?
This is a great question. Can I propose to you another game submission to tack onto this?
Oh, yes, I'm very much down for that. I love hybrids.
This comes from the Nano Chameleon is 13.5 millimeters long at Chameleon Foots. I think that's another chameleon fact. Thanks. A game with ever-changing, procedurally generated rules. For example, every time you get hit, a frog spawns. Or every time you hit a checkpoint, your screen gets more pixelated.
Oh, God. So
what if this was match-based rules? It isn't like big multiplayer over the course of the week. The game spawns in and it puts in 5 players from each of 5 different factions. And the rules are immediately scrambled. And maybe the rule of this game is every time you shoot a gun, you get $1. Or maybe it's every time you get hit, you get $1. Nobody's going to know what the trigger is to make money until somebody makes a rule that this is how you make money.
Oh, so like, and the person that makes that rule basically gets a head start on it. And then,
because they know how to make money. They have the better strat, because I can be like, no, I raised enough money, Blake. Don't tell anybody else. You know what's going to give fat stacks? Blowing up cars.
Yeah, no, okay, so you're onto something there. So it's like, this is an open world game, or maybe
I'm imagining you mentioned Sunset Overdrive, which is such a good touchstone, because what if you had 25 people in Sunset Overdrive in a big PvP match? That rules.
And but you know, it'd be kind of cool. What if this is like, we take like the Conan Exiles route, where it's like every server is permanent, where it's like
I think I want it to be match based. That's the way we get more options of like the resets.
It resets every week. It's like you get assigned to a new server every single week. So it's like, hey, you can build up. Imagine, have you ever played Civilization Online?
No, and I haven't played Conan Exiles either. Can you sell me on both of these?
Okay, so Civilization, the massive appeal that I don't play Civilization, but my uncle loves playing.
Awesome. What about Conan Exiles? Did you play that one?
Stick with me. I can get it's everybody fucking knows Civilization. Like, let's be real. Okay, so Civilization.
I have a confession to make to you, Blake.
You are literally in a Discord with people that play Civilization on the reg while we're on a phone call. Do you not listen? No, but do you not listen to them? Like,
I don't know what they're talking about. Usually, I have like no idea. They'll be like, "Oh no, Gandhi's invading me," and I have no idea how that happened to them.
But you get it. It's in the name. You control a civilization, and then you build up their resources through time. Like it. All right. So whatever. So okay. Let me get back to my point I was making. Civilization is a game that takes a long amount of time. You know that, right?
Yes, I know that much.
So when people play online with people that they don't know, there is this feeling of developing a relationship with them because you are spending such an exorbitant amount of time with them. And so what if a la Conan, and to explain Conan Exiles, the way that game works is when you log into the game, you are permanently tied to a server. So the people you see on the server are the only people you're ever going to see on that server. I think until like a new person, like until their account gets deleted or they get assigned to, a new person. So, and I believe that is to achieve this exact thing I'm going for is you then develop actual relationships with the people that are in your sphere. So imagine you are assigned to this Sunset Overdrive stylized punk rock city, and for a week you're stuck in that server. What enemies are you going to build? What friendships are you going to build over that week? Who do you have to say goodbye to by the end of the week? Who are you going to get revenge on by the end of that week?
Who are you going to get trapped in a foxhole with who's on the enemy side, and the two of you are stuck in voice chat for the next 3 days just learning about each other and finding out that you ain't so different, you and them.
But but now here's where the spice comes in. Here's where the beautiful fucking SUCC spice comes in. Okay. What if the things that you purchase or the things that you are able to purchase can affect that player RIL? So what I'm thinking is okay, I'm going to admit to something really bad here.
Okay.
I used to be a chivalry troll. I used to be pretty damn good at chivalry. I used to play it like every day with my buddy Chase.
Okay.
And there was this one kid. I feel so bad about this. There's this one kid that I'm assuming they're a kid. I don't know. That they logged into.
Hey, Blake, just benefit of the doubt, you should always assume that any stranger on the internet is 13 years old.
You're right. So this kid
this 13-year-old kid
logs into the server I'm on, and just for some reason, I'm like, I don't like them. So
so you started cyberbullying.
So chivalry has this mechanic where you can just vote to veto somebody out of middle of the match. Be like, hey, I don't like this player. Can we get them the fuck out of here? And so what I would do is I would spawn it. And I would like keep clicking until like the rest of my team agreed with me to kick this kid out. And then the fucking craziness of it, and this is going to come back into what I want to do for this game. That kid fucking tracked me down in a completely different server and like hunted me specifically. So they kept voting
like a samurai movie.
I was the person that what they wanted revenge on, rightfully so, because that was a piece of shit move. So what they did was they logged in and like messaged the group chat saying, hey, this guy did this thing to me and I want to veto him. And everybody's like, no, we don't want to veto him. He's on our team and doing a pretty good job. So they let me stay. So the kid swapped to the opposing team, and all they did that match was hunt me down. And I gotta say, absolutely fun and hilarious. Because man, I was 14 and it was fun to piss people off.
Because you were super good at this game. And they would all come at you and you would kill them all yourself because you're super good at chivalry.
I honestly don't remember. I don't think it went anywhere after that. But
hey, Blake, this is the internet. You can lie and say you were good at video games.
So what if we can do this thing where we have this game where you are in an open world and you are developing these relationships with people over the course of a week. And there's going to be trolls. There's going to be 14-year-old Blakes out there that are going to be just absolute shits. So
yeah, there's going to be people that are like, if you shoot your friends, you get lives back, and then you shoot your friend and they die and they don't respawn.
Well, no, how about this? What if we get really crazy with it? So it's like, I want to change out all the assets that this one player has. Like, I want to change out the sound assets. When they're going through the game and they're firing their gun or they're using their weapon, well, it's a sound asset I uploaded. And it's just of me saying something to them specifically. So every time they want to attack something and play the game and collect money, they got to hear my dumb voice, my dumb nasally voice in their gun.
This is excellent.
Yes.
Okay, here, let me add on to this. Okay, yes, and
yes.
Not only is it, here's what I want to avoid is I don't want us to create another video game where we are stealing from people's computers.
No,
I
am
am obsessed with the idea of a video game where we are only able to add rules.
Yes.
You are not able to take anything away.
Yes.
And so this idea that you can pay the in-game currency, you get $100, and instead of creating a convenient rule like when I'm near friends I gain health, you create a rule that's every time single player shoots a gun, they hear me go fart noise every single time they shoot a gun. And that's what I've chosen to spend my in-game money on.
Yes.
But it's only additive rules. You can only stack rules on top of each other. You cannot remove any laws.
Okay. Yes, I like this where it just gets more and more complicated. So the whole point. So basically, you start the game. You start the week as like the game is fully playable and fully like just your own, but as the game goes on,
it's randomly generated, because I think that I want to keep in this idea of like you were mentioning the idea of like rivalries and trust coming. Imagine the trust that can be built between two factions if you and I were to set up one of the rules and then we told one of the other factions like, hey, I don't know if you've seen the rule board lately, but if you can catch a frog, you get so much money. Just a little tip between you and me.
Okay, but how do you build trust in a game? And how do you break, how do you make that pain all the more palpable when that trust is broken or upheld or whatever, right?
Three things. One,
you have to pay to communicate
are not
to people.
viewable by the players.
No.
You can only communicate rules to each other when you've discovered a rule.
No, what I'm thinking
I can set a rule, but I can't see that. Nobody can see that I set it so that if you catch a frog, you can add an audio clip.
Well, no.
You have to trust me when I tell you this.
No, what I'm thinking is okay, because what I'm trying to think is like when people log into this server or something like that, maybe you can't see what faction they're a part of. So maybe you have to pay to buy a scanner or something to see what their role is and see if you want to trust them. But also, what if you end up having to use the in-game currency to send messages or communicate with other people? And the reason I want to do something like that is, say you spend 1,000. Oh, we're also going to call our in-game money SUCCs instead of bucks. So,
ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, sucks.
1,000 SUCCs. You send that out, and that's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of SUCCs. And you send this message that reveals a role of how to reveals a new rule that you have generated or paid for to help somebody you think is on your team to help them grind. But as it turns out, maybe what if they just use that information and become like some sort of black market info person? What if people are selling information to other players, or like it's this game of like, okay, you have to invest in trust. It's like it actually adds a palpable weight to communicating something to somebody.
We are creating a world where info brokering is a possibility for some players.
Yes. And what I'm projecting is like, okay, the week starts, the server is fresh. However that looks. We can talk about it later. And as the week goes on,
using Sunset Overdrive as our backboard or like as our skeleton is a good way to digest what this game looks like.
And you know what would be kind of cool, actually? What if we take some sort of Groundhog Day route with this? Not in the sense of like everything is repeatable, but do you know like Majora's Mask? A great example. So Majora's Mask, the premise for that, for those that don't know, is that you have 3 days to solve the big mystery of Majora's Mask before a moon hits this town and kills the world. But right as the moon is starting to descend, you can play the Song of Time and rewind the clock 3 days. So the setup for this game is that on the 7th day, this world basically ends and it re-scrambles itself. So, but you go back with all of your memories, you go back with all of your factions.
Can I propose to you something else?
Okay, go ahead. I'm all ears, man.
What if the game doesn't reset until the win condition is met?
Oh, so it's just mad crazy until something...
Rules will continue to be added and layered on until a player discovers what the win condition is, and then one faction can start racing towards the win condition.
Oh, and that's discovered over clues. Like, that's why you're exploring the world. It's like you have to
That's why you're exploring the world. That's why you're constantly trying to add new rules, is because, like, again, you can't do any rules that are... what's the word I'm looking for?
Wait, AJ, I have it.
Contradictory.
I have it. This is how we get people fucking locked into our game, and they are slaves to it. Our dailies like how in like Destiny 2 there are dailies that you have to do to increase your light level, that way you can participate in raids and be up to shit. So what if our dailies were unlocking new clues that basically make the win condition on the 7th day happen? But we take, like, from Hunt Showdown, which kind of has a similar system to this, the places where the clues are points where PvP shit goes down. Because there's only so many instances of, like, a clue. So, like...
Yeah, and you want to be the team that gets a hold of the clue.
Yes, you want to be the team that gets a hold of a clue. That way, on the 6th day, you, and hopefully by then, you'll find out who everybody on the server, through, like, you purchase, like, a scanner that shows, okay, what is your actual role? Like, who are you? And this is where
new rule. Anytime anybody jumps, you get to see, so long as you're in the air, you can see what team people are part of.
Or a new rule that you can turn on that people might know about is anytime anybody uses a scanner, it's going to show them a different role. So maybe there's a week where nobody knows who the fuck is on their team, and it's just chaos. And then but say that doesn't happen or whatever, and you get to the end of the week, and you now have to get together with the people that you trust and discuss all these clues that dictate the win condition. It's like, okay, on Sunday afternoon, that we have to go to the docks, and there's going to be something there's going to be a submarine that floats up from the water, and we got to go in there, do an encounter, get some sort of code, and then bam, as soon as we unlock that, a vault on the other side of the map in the meadows or in the mountains opens that we can go in there and do an encounter. And then
as you get close to this, you can add rules such as submarine is always up. Oh. And now it doesn't have to be on Sunday that you go there. You added the rule that the submarine's always active.
But how would you know
that whenever you want?
How would you know that before you combine the clues, though? That's the thing.
That's exactly it. Is you would have gotten the clues that say, "Oh, go to submarine on Sunday." Oh. But then you, the player, can say, "Okay, well, it's not Sunday now, and I know that I want to get a jump on this before the other team. Oh. My team is going to add the rule: submarine is always up."
Oh, and it'd be kind of crazy too. Is like, okay, so you're onto something here. So let's pick. What does a clue look like? It is one sentence out of a 6-sentence instruction manual. So there are 6 steps to doing the win condition of you having to do these encounters. But say you find you find on the first day of the new week, you find the clue, you find the clue that you have to do in the 4th position of this thing. You can go there and do that encounter ahead of time if you want to. It just won't that way you can practice it, you can grind it. But here's the thing, if people can't start to realize, oh, there's a lot of people going to the vault right now, that has to be one of the encounters. But they're not going to know what number it's in, or like what number.
Okay, so you're proposing that, like in Hunt Showdown, where there's a bunch of different enemies that spawn, a possible win condition for this game would be that you have to go around the map and kill 6 different bosses. And if you're the team that kills all 6 of those bosses in time, you're going to be the team that wins.
Yes, and that's where you get a bunch of dosh. One thing we should talk about, what is like the game from server to server? Like what happens between, like, is it just that team affects the narrative overall? Like maybe that's kind of... that is something I wish...
Wait, what do you mean? Like, what's the narrative of this game?
Well, yeah, no, how about this? Of course, if a video game did this in real life, I would lose my fucking mind. Imagine if, like, depending on who wins out of what week, that affects the actual, like, narrative being told by the dev team. So it's like, hey, this month, blue team won every single week. So what was one of the teams? You said Stinky Butts or something?
I remember Dope Dogs because I was proud of that one.
So say the Dope Dogs won 3 out of the 4 weeks this month, or say Dope Dogs won the season, which is like what, 3-4 months is a usual season.
Yeah.
So say they won the season, that's going to dictate the narrative, and that's who we write into the narrative for the next season. It's like, hey, Dope Dogs, they uncovered these secrets during the last season, which
that'd be kind of a fun way to keep the game moving forward.
And it would make people feel like their actions and their contributions are contributing to the story in a way. Like, unlike like Destiny's thing is like, oh yeah, you guys are contributing to the story, you're the Guardians, and be like, well, I mean, things are kind of happening outside us.
Yeah, Destiny's weird because, like, not to go into not to become a video game podcast really quick, but Destiny's in a weird space where more recently the idea of your single guardian being the guardian that's doing everything feels more important. But for years, Destiny really towed this line of Shaxx didn't know who AJ Hart the gamer was.
Yeah.
Whenever Shaxx Shaxx might know who I am, but Zavala didn't know who my guardian was. I was just a dude in a helmet to Zavala. But then over these last couple of years, it's been a little bit more oh, no. The guy that was best friends with Cade and that killed Oryx and that started using the darkness and is stopping the Fallen, the Elixir, my bad. That,
hey, using
has all been one
right there on the
single
podcast,
character. I'm so sorry. But over the last couple of years, that's been the only, your character is the one that's done that. And I feel for a long time, Destiny did a good job of just gesturing Guardians did it.
I mean,
someone.
I do like that it's basically put that on you.
I personally liked it a little bit more when it was ephemeral because it made the world and the universe feel really big.
Okay, that's fair. There are things beyond just your actions. I mean, it's kind of fallen into that because, okay, I don't want to deter from this too much, but the one time that happened in the Destiny world, what really bothered me is that we were the one to pull the trigger in the what scene, where that one guy, he's become our buddy now, but the thing with the thing.
I know exactly. Vague. I mean, hey, bud, you kind of have to spoil that because that whole thing is leaving Destiny in a month.
That's true. There's a character that you kill that becomes basically your buddy later on. But he's
a little brother.
But he's reborn and doesn't have any memories of all the previous shit he did. It's a really cool story. It's really, really cool. But I felt really weird about that because this game up to this point was I could be the hero that I wanted to be. I was this opinionless, faceless sort of this imprint.
Yeah, you were
this character.
A member of the Guardians.
Yeah, this character. But then it made me the one to pull the trigger and to be wow, that should have been supported by a character with their own opinions, their own vendettas, their own goals, not faceless hero that I've imprinted myself on. Because then it feels
because
like a
now
it
changes the entire relation that your guardian will have with Crow because your guardian is the one that did it.
All right, so because we make games that suck, do we want to do that?
Let's put a pin in this video game. I've got 2 working titles for it, and we'll probably come back around to this. Do you have a video game idea for me?
I mean, I gave you the last video game idea, but then you combined it into a new
But then
thing.
I combined it with another video game.
Well, I mean, I can give you...
then let me dig around for a video game.
I can give you another
idea.
game submission if you want.
No, I got this. This one comes from Reddit user Squid Pope.
What's up? Squid Pope, I haven't heard from you in so long. It's so good to hear from you.
A game that recreates the sinking feeling in my stomach that I get whenever I overwater my succulents. I'd have to watch them die slowly, knowing that it was my hand that killed them.
Oh, God.
Here's the thing. I think that horror games are really bad right now, and let me explain why.
Okay.
Video games do a horrible job of expressing any sort of horror that is not jump scares. Don't get me wrong. I love Five Nights at Freddy's for a long time. The first 3 Five Nights at Freddy's games are very good Let's Play games. But that's because they are horror games that were built for Let's Players. Thank you so much for all of your work, Let's Players. I'm done with horror games made for you. I want a horror game that forces me to be uncomfortable and stressed out for 40 minutes. I want a horror video game that is horror in the way that what's the name? What's the name with the Swedish people that are all fucked up? And you watch a woman have a terrible time for 2 hours.
A terrible time for 2 hours. Are you talking about Midsommar?
Yeah, Midsommar.
Yeah. Well, so what you're talking about is you don't want to do horror. You want to do terror, eerie terror.
Yes.
So
I want a video game that makes me dread the thing that I'm about to do and dread the things that I'm having to do. Not because I'm frightful of it. Well, I am frightful of it, but it has to be done. Or it kind of has to be done. No, I don't necessarily want it to be one of those things of isn't it fucked up that you have to do this? Because that's a little bit played out with prestige horror in video games, right? That's the whole thing about Last of Us 2. I want a video game that just makes me uncomfortable.
Well, okay. Okay, so we're on. Okay, I really like this idea, and I do want to entertain it, and I really want to figure it out. But I do want to lay out the challenges of doing an idea like this. One, if this is a game where we know that overwatering this plant will kill it, then it's just going to make you water the plant better. I think terror only happens when we are watching something that is out of our control. And because you're seeing something that you can't do anything about. That's why I think Midsommar is so effective, because we are watching something we do not understand. It is a different culture. Mm-hmm. It is a different thing where through our Western eyes, we think like, and I think the movie does a great scene of that where it's like they call out the main actress where it's like, hey, that guy, we know you just saw that guy's head get bludgeoned, but he wanted that. Like he just jumped off. He's dead, but that's part of our culture. Who the fuck are you to come in and say that's our culture? So it like, that's where terror comes in, because it's like, I don't understand, so I'm not in control. I can't pass my own judgment or my own understanding on this. I just have to watch it happen. So how do you take something complicated like that and apply it to watering plants?
I have the exact feeling that I want.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's the feeling that Squid Pope is going through. Squid Pope's not a chuckle fuck. Squid Pope's super smart and knows what they're doing at all times. Of course they do. They listen to this podcast, so we know that they're incredibly talented and smart.
Okay.
Squid Pope knows how to water a goddamn succulent. We all know how to water a goddamn succulent. Blake Rhea, you and I this morning, when we were playing Mario, when we experienced our heated gamer moment, you and I went through this level the first time. And essentially the way that this level works is we have a cannon strapped to our head in Mario, and we have to shoot it at a box. Shoot the cannon at a box.
They kept yelling at you to don't look at me because you kept fucking killing me. Anytime you looked into me with your best friend's eyes, you killed him. You fuck. All right,
that's not the part that I want to focus in on. Okay. I want to focus in on the part where we went through it the first time and we did it so good and so right. Every time I looked at one of the boxes, I was able to shoot the gun at the box and we were able to move on to the next zone. Mm-hmm. However, you and I failed that run. And then we had to start the run over a second time. And when we did it the second time, I would stand as close as humanly possible to that box, but my cannon no longer reached it. I knew what I was doing. I knew what was supposed to happen, but the game wasn't working right. Squid Pope knows how to water a plant, and they're watering the plant perfectly, but the damn thing keeps on drowning. Why? We're doing everything we're supposed to be doing right. That's the terror I want. I want the fear of I'm doing it right. It is the video game's fault, actually.
That's frustration, not terror, though. That's not the sinking feeling. Because I didn't feel the sinking feeling. Because, like, there was always that thing.
I felt the sinking feeling because I'm better than this. I know how to make the cannon work. I did it before.
But I think the moment you put it within the framework of a thing that you can just restart if it's not working, a la any electronic, it kind of loses that same tension. Can I pitch you on an idea that I think can play into those control themes? So, what if we lie to the audience? What if we lie
That's
to our
my favorite thing to do. I love lying.
One thing I see a lot of video games as of late is that they want to go into a game because they want to escape the humdrum of day-to-day life and the obvious social pressures that come with that. So we release a game that's all about gardening. You have this succulent. The game starts with your mother, your sweet mama, just giving you this succulent, and they say, hey, take care of this because I want to plant it in my garden with you at the end of this summer. Or I want to plant this tree that you're watering at the end of this summer. So you have an immediate goal from the get-go. So you go through a run of the game, and it's just you taking care of this little tree. You have to trim off the little leaves. Maybe there's some mini games. You have to take the bugs off. You have to spritz it. You have to see its water level. But what if this game slowly becomes a thing where there are other things that are presented in the apartment that take your attention away from this plant? And you think, oh, now it's a life simulator. That's kind of fun. I get to open this box and put up, a picture of me and my grandma on the shelf. That's awesome. But you find out a bunch of time has passed, and you figure out, oh, fuck, the plant didn't get watered for a day. they lost a leaf. They're slowly dying. So you're like, okay, now I know I can get a hold of this. I can combat this. I got to just make sure to water the plant every day when I go do these activities. But as the game goes on, you get swamped with more and more and more activities. And maybe we just throw out the casual thing of like, okay, you can definitely put more water in than the pot can handle, and maybe that'll help it get through the day. And then you kind of find out, oh, that works. But then your plant starts growing leaves again. You think it's working, but maybe that, like any good thing, too much of it can start to poison it. And then you just find out your plant starts to lose more and more life as you overwater it. So there's this terror of like, and maybe we do some sort of like, is this like an immersion simulator kind of like, what is Presentable Liberty? Is that like is that like an immersion sim or no?
I guess it's an immersive sim. You are being immersed in the idea of being locked in a room all day. So yeah, it is an immersive sim.
So what if we find out, oh my God. Oh fuck. Okay, you can only play this game once, and it's like playing Doki Doki Literature Club. It's only going to traumatize you once. What if you only are ever going to play this game once? This is a game that can be completed in an hour, and the game ends with your plant dying. Like you see it like just you're trying to water it and you're trying to water it, but nothing's working. And maybe this isn't even like a thing that you can learn a pattern for. This plant is going to die. This plant will die. This is a fucked up story. And then the moment your plant dies,
does your grandma die?
You get a letter saying your grandma died. So like you get this double whammy. You take that sinking feeling and you fucking just throw it at somebody that was clearly trying to find a game to relax. This is like somebody booting up Stardew Valley and they found out all of the relationships they've made. Everybody forgot them. Like they're like 3 years into a Stardew Valley run and every relationship they've had up to this point, nobody remembers them.
There's a shooting star and then everybody forgets who your player character was.
Yeah, just that sinking feeling of like, fucking hate this. That's the kind of mindfuckery I want to play with this video game.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Let's put a pin in it. I'm glad we got here. I am imagining something like you were on the idea of like more and more things to do. I started to imagine like the persona idea of like meeting all sorts of friends that you're trying to build relationships with, and that's what gets in the way of you taking care of this stupid little plant.
And maybe that's the allegory of this story is that you might have these friendships that you want to hang out with and build with, but remember to check in on your grandma because you never know when she's gonna need water. You know what I mean? That water, the symbol of love and life.
It's deep, and people like that.
That's what horror needs. You know, when did FNAF ever get deep? When did FNAF ever tell a deep, compelling story? I mean, it has, but who the fuck?
I haven't read the books.
The books are terrible. I've read one of them. I read.
The game doesn't have a very deep and compelling story. So
You'd
what do you
be
mean?
fucking surprised. Have you watched Matt Pat's like 30-episode long series?
I'd make it a habit not to watch Matt Pat.
Okay, that's fair. That's like the only thing I've watched.
Something about the idea of a guy that has a channel with like 20 writers marketing himself as like, I'm the one guy that does it all. It rubs me wrong.
Hey, I hate to break it to you, but that's every fucking channel out there about like of that size and that.
I do my best not to watch a lot of essayist channels.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Like you know how I know I can trust them when they don't release weekly. Because like that's when you get like the Frederick Nuts and be like, okay, this is one, maybe two guys spending an exorbitant amount of time on one singular topic and then just hoping
I don't have my content creator apologize for taking time to create the thing 3 times in the video. I don't trust it. They must beg for forgiveness for me to trust.
How many times did Super Eye Patch Wolf apologize during his Garfield video?
He doesn't apologize that often in the video itself. He does apologize for it on the podcast that I listened to him on, though.
Okay, that's fair. Frederick Nuts and Down the Rabbit Hole only apologizes on his Twitter and on YouTube community. So you're, yeah. Okay, do you want me to give you a game, or do you
Give me one last game.
Okay, one last game, and then we got to jump into modifiers. This goes to us on Twitter from Mars, parentheses, 0 out of 3 commission, slot filled, at NotGayTheist. A Shadow the Hedgehog type game where you choose good, bad, or neutral path, but the protagonist is a clown. Character customization, of course, and you have to choose whether you will go the path of scary clown or cool clown. Here's the trick question. All clowns lead to scary. There's no such thing as a not good clown, or as a good clown. So can we do some sort of game where, okay, I'm trying to actually, let me.
How fondly do you remember Shadow the Hedgehog, the hit video game?
I remember he has guns.
Shadow the Hedgehog had an interesting little thing where it was a Sonic game at its core. You know, you just run from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. Granted, you had guns now. Mm-hmm. But what Shadow the Hedgehog did was every level had a good end, a neutral end, and a bad end. Uh-huh. The way that you would get one of these is as you ran through the level, one of two NPCs would reach out to you during the level. If you just ran from the beginning of the level to the end of the level, you would always end up with the neutral end because it's just Shadow the Hedgehog going where he thinks he needs to go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, so it's just
but when you interact with the NPCs that you could pick up while running through the world, I think some of them might call you on your cool Shadow the Hedgehog cell phone. They will be like, hey,
Shadow the Hedgehog.
The good guys will be like, hey, could you run through this level for me and try to find 5 CDs? Mm-hmm. And if you find 5 CDs for them, they'll be like, awesome, that was the good end. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Or the bad guys will come on and they'll be like, do me a favor. Shoot everybody. Kill everything on the map. Mm-hmm. Ah! Okay. And if you do that, you do the bad ending, and you move one level towards the bad end.
Oh, that's interesting. So basically you can replay the level and do the style that you want to pursue.
Exactly.
That's surprisingly
Shadow the Hedgehog
complicated
did have a
for
second masterpiece part of it, and I believe it had 56 multiple endings. Let me double check how many endings Shadow the Hedgehog had.
What? Okay, but was it like a Fallout 3 or a Fallout New Vegas style ending where it's like, okay, there's like 3 different endings, but it's during the ending they talk about like a bunch of little things that could be different?
There are 10 different endings in Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, My bad.
56 endings. 10 endings sounds about right. Oh my god. Which one did Snap God, I was going to say Snapchat, but I know that's not it. Snaps Cube. Which one did they did an overdub of or they did a dub of Shadow, right?
I have no idea. I've not checked that. If they did, that sounds incredible.
We need to message Marvel. If they haven't done that, they need to get on that. Okay, so can we do some sort of game where you start off as a clown and then you kind of choose?
You can decide whether or not you're going to be clown, good clown, or bad clown.
Yeah, good clown, bad clown.
Okay, first of all, we need to decide this right now, right here.
Do they eat kids?
A bad clown is, of course, a murder clown.
Do they eat bad kids? No, I mean, all clowns eat kids.
Shut up. Not all clowns are bad clowns, because I need you to understand that there is one clown that is objectively very good and hilarious and awesome.
Okay, which one? Because I'm
rodeo clowns.
Rodeo clown? No, they're eating kids behind the tent. Like that's
no, they're not.
Dude, all clowns eat to children eating. The
rodeo clowns are keeping us safe from all of the angry bulls that are trying to kill us.
That's what they fucking want you to believe, but then they go behind the tent, and guess what? Timothy, who's chomping on a churro and having a good time, guess what? He's being eaten like he's a churro. All clowns lead to horror.
This is clown slander.
Okay, no, this is not clown slander. This has been proven. This is scientifically proven. Ask anybody on the street. Fucking clowns eat children. It's true. But here's the thing that dictates a, quote, good clown from a bad clown. Are you eating good kids? Or are you eating bad kids? And that's our game, is figuring out...
Okay, stop. We can't do this because you're proposing the idea that Pennywise the It Clown is a neutral clown because he did also eat the bullies.
Yes, so Pennywise the Clown is a complicated villain. Like, everybody likes to chalk them up as...
the clown is a neutral clown.
They are a neutral, chaotic villain. Like, because you're right. They did fucking eat a poor kid. They eat a lot of kids that were just minding their own business.
They eat a lot of kids.
It did eat a kid that did potentially kill their sibling. So, you win some, you lose some. I like Pennywise. They're a complicated individual with a they are the true gray of this universe.
Okay, can you give me a good clown then? A clown that only eats bad kids.
A clown that only eats bad kids. What's I was Can I give you another bad clown? Because there's more of those than there are good ones.
No, you cannot. The goal is to find a good clown by your rules.
Okay, wasn't there like a good clown from Lazy Town? Like, remember that one where the Lazy Town, where it was like the...
Can you confirm that he only ate bad kids?
Lazy Town clown. There was a clown in that, right? There was a clown! It was... God, that's a horror clown if I've ever fucking seen one. Ugh.
No, I have to look up Lazy Town clown.
Their name is Chump a Calabaza! They chomp a kids, dude!
Lazy Town clown. Oh, this clown sucks to look at.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not insane. There was a fucking clown on... Wow, I think this is like one episode. Where did this exist in my brainscape for the longest time? Probably in my nightmares. This is who I scream about in my sleep.
Blake, we need to pick a nug.
You want to talk about the ethics of good child eating versus bad child eating?
You know what? I do want to dodge this one.
Okay, so we have our game where you are...
I think our nug is going to be the online battle arena that lasts up to a week where people have to pay to add more and more rules.
Yes, and this works great into our Patreon modifiers. For those that don't know, if you want to join up on our Patreon for $2 a month, you can join us on Discord where we do private get-togethers, hang out, talk video games, and you can submit to our modifiers. AJ, what was our modifier?
Our modifier right now is Unlockable Characters, which is honestly a piece of video game that has been lost to time.
Real? I mean, like, I guess only
Name
Smash
a video
does
game
it
that
now.
you've played in the last 5 years that had unlockable characters.
Smash had unlockable characters. I mean, anything beyond a fighting game, I can't tell you. Like, I do not know.
Well, that's the thing. It's like most fighting games, they aren't unlockable. You get them over time when the video game updates and you pay for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's not necessarily an unlockable character then, huh? I mean, like, What is the most famous unlockable character, now that I think about it? The most famous unlockable character. I feel like
I'm gonna say that I think the most famous unlockable character
might just be Luigi. Yeah, because like
Luigi's a good one.
Yeah, because Luigi, you couldn't play as them.
What if it's the little dinosaur from Tekken 2 instead, though?
What? Tekken 2?
Was Tekken 2 the one that had the little dinosaur you could unlock?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Tekken 2, little dinosaur. This is good podcasting.
Okay, whatever. So that's our Patreon modifier. I want to talk about maybe the framework of how we pick these modifiers is that these are either these are not skins that you pay to put on yourself. What if these are skins that you can unlock that you then force another player to carry for that week before the world resets?
Yes, because this feeds into the idea of like you can only add rules, and a lot of money is going to be spent on people adding rules to harass other people.
Yes.
Things like adding sound effects to their game, things like adding skins to their
rivals,
person,
building
things
rivals,
like making
dude.
it so that certain people will see all characters as this submission from Gazer, Gorfy, a horrible clone of Goofy. You can force someone to look like a horrible Goofy clone because you paid the money for it.
Oh my god. Okay. We're on to something here. So what if all of our brand deals were like, you know, like how Fortnite does the thing where it's like, well, this season we're bringing Spider-Man.
I'm going to offer something bold to you.
Okay, go ahead.
There will be no brand deals in this video game.
No, you're right. You're onto it. What if
because we aren't going to need the money. No, this isn't me just like trying to take a stance. We won't need the money because I have something that's going to blow this up.
Okay, go ahead.
We accept currency, baby. This game is open to paying. You can pay for in-game currency. You can pay to add rules. Fuck it.
Well, yeah, no, like I think that went without saying. It's like, of course you.
This has a strict pay to win mechanic.
But you know, it'd be kind of cool too.
If I want to spend $200 to damn you to being just somebody that has to experience the Gorfy movie through your video game, I will do it.
Do the skins carry certain abilities? You know, like you
No,
and I are playing. No,
they are just visual curses.
No, AJ.
Unless you pay for them to also have a thing.
No.
I want no ands, only and alsos.
Okay. You remember, so you and I are playing Elden Ring right now, and there's that wonderful mechanic where if you let a lady hug you, she like takes a third of your health away. What if
she takes only 5% away, and also she increases your poise a shit ton, so check yourself.
Wait, really? That increased my poise? Fuck, I got rid of it.
Yeah.
That sucks. So but I'm thinking, what if it's stuff like that, where it's not like major decisions or major impacts, but it's like, okay, you got Gorfy. Guess what? Your mobility is down by 5% for this week. And maybe
you can pay for people to have debuffs. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Every skin comes with a debuff.
Yes, there are skins that come with debuffs. And the thing I was getting at is all of our brand deals, quote unquote, are like the off-brand versions of characters. So instead of Spider-Man, it's Spooderman. Instead of Sonic, it's Sanic. You know, and then it's just like they're really weirdly proportioned and designed. I don't think I ever brought you down to Chinatown here in LA, but there was this one toy store I would love going to because everything in it was a knockoff toy. And I never bought anything, but it was just fascinating to look at because you would see like, okay, here's all of the Simpsons characters with slightly different names and slightly different proportions. And It was just so off-putting. And I'm like, how the fuck did this get made? And how did this get here? Who came up with this toy? Who packaged this toy? It's just very engaging to me. So if we do something like that, one, we can get around all of the copyright rules, and we could just have
parody.
Totally have Spider-Man in our game. Actually, wait, that's
and he's really fast.
But no, if you put the Spooderman curse on somebody, they just stick to everything. So like anything they touch, they start dragging with them, and they basically just devolve into a Katamari Damacy bowl. And that's okay. We're onto something here. What if so you pay to put this skin on somebody? That skin then carries with it some sort of quest that you can do to get the curse lifted and get some sort of buffs out of it that then contribute to your overall income or your overall
I love this
factions
because
income.
we've created a battle arena that has all sorts of weird little quests like what Fortnite
and you're
now.
you're generating your own narrative, and I think that's super important for a video game. Like you and I are playing Elden Ring, and the joy of it, I think for both of us, is like, hey, what's the narrative of our character? What's the narrative we are finding? And what are the little stories we are going to take ourselves on? It's like, hey, I see that thing off in the distance. My tale for today is me going off and finding out what that is. In our version of this game is, oh, fuck, I look like Goofy. I look like Gorfy. I'm a knockoff Goofy. I need to get this curse off me. Where does this curse, like, then you find out, it's like, oh, I need to go to the skate park and do 50 ollies or get a it just turns into
But the
Tony
rules
Hawk
have been
Pro
randomly
Skate.
generated, so if I do a skateboard trick, I die. That's in the rules.
So
They
you're
got
stuck
scrambled
with-
like that.
Oh my god, it's just unpredictable nature. Oh god. And like I love that because each server is going to be its own unique
Every
collage.
server has its own weird scrambled rules.
Yeah. This is
The controls will likely always be the same unless somebody pays for the controls to be worse.
What is okay? And are we on the same page that this is one of those games that just has a bunch of different like mechanics in it? Like there's sections that can be FPSs, there's sections that can be parkour, there's sections that can be arcade games.
The general rule
just
that I want to
feels
create is
open.
that it is a third-person game, and on that we have the backbones for literally anything. It's
Okay.
a real Grand Theft Auto City.
Okay. I think, what are we going to call this thing? And
I have two working titles. Would you like to hear them both?
Yes, I would love to hear them both.
So, Pay to Win, which seems a little bit boring and a little bit ham-fisted and on the nose. But the one that I like a lot is Chump Change.
Chump Change. Okay. That's bitchin'. I like that. Can I pitch you one? But I think yours is really strong.
Yeah, hit me with what you got.
I accidentally said collage because it's like each server
Well, that's
is
not
going
a
to
money
become.
word.
Well, no. I was gonna. It's good. That's part of it. Like, because I think each server is going to be its own collage mess of chaos. What if we called the game Chaos Collage? It's a little bit artsy, but I think yours
You're right. Chump Change was better.
Yeah, hey, at least I said
you should have trusted your gut on that one.
You're right. You're right. Hey, you know what? I like to think this is a safe space where you and I can exchange ideas that are problematic.
No, you're right. Like who's to say? Like you could have knocked it out of the park. You would never know unless you took the swing. So like I respect that. Game recognized game.
Chump Change. All right, that's it. Chump Change. That's a video game. That's a video game. That's a fun game. You know, there are weeks like this where I'm like, you know, we're coming up on one thing I do. Actually, I'll discuss them in patch notes. We'll see.
Let's go to patch notes then.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to patch notes. One thing I want to discuss that's really exciting to AJ and I is by the time you have listened to this episode, AJ and I and Spiritual Successor, and with your guys' lovely help, we've reached 100,000 listens.
In fact, you right now listening to this, dear listener, are the 100,000 listener. And there's literally no way Blake and I can disprove this. This is true. You're the 100,000 listener. Thank you so much. We've hit 100,000 total downloads on this podcast. And that is insane. That is so many listens.
132 episodes and coming up on 3. Actually, I think we just got to 3 years. Wait, hold on, AJ. It's March, right?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Hold on. We're literally coming up on our anniversary. Wait a second. Hold on. I think our anniversary's tomorrow. Oh, hold on. Let me look at podcasts really quick.
Fact check this, yeah. Fact check this.
No. There's no
way the universe lined up.
There's no way the universe could have lined up like this. Okay. Bill and Ted's Corrective Adventure came out. Oh my God. We're 6 days away. So literally next Sunday, before the next episode, we'll have reached 100. Wow.
Which means, again,
that's
you,
incredible.
Dear listener, could be our 100,000th listener. Wow. Thank you so much for all of your support.
Like, this has been a wild adventure, and you know, I won't lie to you. 130 something episodes. It's like part of me is like, oh man, when are we gonna run out of steam?
That's a lot of episodes.
When is that it? When are AJ and I not funny anymore? But you know what? Walking out of this episode, it reminds me that it's like, nope. There's still so much fun to be had with my best friend here, and I'm so happy people are still listening.
And there's so many more jokes that the listeners have for us to ride forever. Thank you all so much.
Fucking AJ and I are not funny when we're not, audience supported. Like, I've talked to AJ in real life. He's heard me tell jokes in real life. I'm not funny. Not funny.
He's way funnier with the podcast.
I'm not funny without Gazer. I'm not funny without Philip. I'm not funny without Andrew Willoughby.
Keep digging. Go on. Hey, bud, we have a lot more Twitter followers. You're going to have to keep listening.
No, I think I will thank them before I go to sleep tonight. But until then, we will see you
say your prayers every night to all of the Twitter followers. Every night I make sure that I read through.
That's what I do. Like, I just stare at my phone. Actually, that's a good way to go to sleep, now that I think about it.
That is not a good way to go to sleep. Don't make that part of your daily ritual.
No. Think about that. So it's like, what is the recommendation when you're having trouble going to sleep? You count, right? Or you think about something and you count backwards, or you do the alphabet backwards, and by the time you count down or whatever, your brain will have slowed down enough to go to sleep. So we have like 400 followers on Twitter. If you want to add to that, please check us out on Twitter, where I'll be like, good night, no surprises. Good night, Sab Macias. Good night, Eden of the barbecue. That's me falling asleep, if you couldn't
That's
tell.
you falling asleep right now. It's working, actually. I can feel it.
All right.
As always, our intro and outro is Cheap Shop by Anamanaguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band from an excellent game. I have been one of your hosts, AJ Hart.
And I have been your other host, Blake Rea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
that should not be named.